A number of stories I have of things that went on in that casino are crazy and ridiculous, absurd, poor human behavior, and they don't even realize it when they're doing it because they're so into playing the game.
Part of the selling point of having video gambling is that the jobs it will create. Well, I can tell you from 10,000 hours of witnessing that yes, it may create jobs. It created about 6 or 7 jobs in my establishment, but also there were at least that many people who lost their jobs because of video gambling. So no one can tell me it creates jobs. Also, you can look at the states who have video gambling. They, like the video gambler, they have become addicted to gambling themselves. They have become addicted to the gambling revenues. They say that 2% of gamblers become gambling addicts. Well, liken it to this. Every day, there's a bus that goes from Concord to Boston, and it holds 55 passengers. Right now, that bus driver knows that he'll get all those 55 passengers to Boston safely. However, if we drive that bus, if the state of New Hampshire drives that bus with 55 gamblers, every single trip, 1 gambler will be hurt. And every 10 trips, 2 passengers will be hurt. Well, would you drive a bus knowing that 1 out of every passenger on every trip you take is going to get hurt, and every 10 trips, 2 passengers are going to get hurt? Now that's the statistics. That's pretty strong because it's right there. Would you drive that bus? I wouldn't think so. What would compel you to drive a bus or take someone on a journey that you knew that 1 person on that 55 group would get hurt? Where's your heart? Where's your compassion? Where's your sense of responsibility?
We're going to lose a lot more. Social costs are going to skyrocket, as they do in other places. And again, like I said, they're underrated. My daughter lives in New Jersey, and she said the town, because she was young when I left New Jersey. The town that we lived in is now is turning into a real dumpy area. Another town that had lower income residents there has turned into nothing but derelict neighborhoods that she would not even consider driving through. She is too afraid. The crack houses, the drugs, the cops, the crime that goes on there has tripled since I was down there, maybe even 15 years ago.
I also saw the human sorrow that was created by video gambling, because I have 10,000 hours of observing several hundred gamblers day in and day out doing their gambling thing. And I saw what other people have not seen, the effects of video gambling. Now you can go to a casino and you have fun. I take my 20 bucks, but you're only there for a few hours or a day. If you stood there for weeks on end, you see the same faces day in and day out, and that's what I saw. I don't remember the names, but I can see the faces of the single mothers who are putting money at 10 o'clock at night into my machines when they should have been home with their children. I can't remember their names, but I can see the faces of those wives and husbands whose spouses physically removed them from my establishment because they had gone through the family savings. I can't remember their names, but I can see the faces of those customers who lost their jobs because they spent more time at my machines than they did their work. I can't remember their names, but I can see the faces of those men and women who would cash their payroll check and within a few hours would have nothing left.
When you have a facility like that, it breeds and it nurtures poor, disrespectful, and abusive behavior under the guise of having fun. And while some people have fun, they also don't see the hardship that the greater percentage of the players are experiencing out of compulsion. And if we bring this into our state, we are going to create thousands of people who are going to endure hardships. They're going to be very excited. A casino's coming in. They're going to go and they're going to have fun. There's going to be a lot of young people who don't have the money, especially in today's economy. They don't have the money to gamble. Neither do families with children. And they are going to take it. And they are going to take and take and take. And they're not going to, they can distribute all the flyers they want. That's not going to help. You know, as far as watch for the signs of compulsive gambling, it doesn't matter. People are going to be tempted, they're going to get into it all, and they're going to keep going back. And we're going to take from families, we're going to take from the children. We are going to put a burden on the schools because the kids are going to bring it into their schools. They have it hard enough these days. And if we start sending kids to schools whose parents have lost way more than they can afford, because we have a local casino, the state's going to lose. So however much news in Connecticut on gambling is not going to, it will not make up for the damages and the loss that New Hampshire's going to incur if we should bring a facility here.
We have 400 some odd legislators. Somebody in the legislature is going to get touched by this. Their spouse, their children, or their grandchildren. Somebody in the legislature today, if this is allowed, a year from now, 2 years from now, will remember my words because somebody in their family will be touched by this gambling